Where will William Nylander's next AAV land, and what will the Leafs do if John Klingberg is out long term? Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan. And guys, there aren't many players playing better than William Nylander right now. The Maple Leafs winger was the star of Sweden over the weekend. His point streak to start the year now up to 17 straight games, Terry. The dollar amount for Nylander continues to rise, it seems, but how high can it actually go? What do you think is a fair AAV for Nylander with the way this season has gone?
Well, just another, before I get to that, just another feather in his cap this weekend, right? I mean, we've talked about the Nylander being the guy that of any Maple Leaf going into contract here, who's going to be least impacted by it, he'd be the guy, and he's proven that. Goes home where there's, quote unquote, a bit of pressure to play well, I suppose, in front of family and friends. Everything rolls off his back. As far as the AAV goes, I know there are comparisons now to what David Pastrnak is getting with the Bruins, 11.25 over 8 years. That's probably what the Maple Leafs are looking at, I would think. Mitch Marner is due for a new contract here, and he'll be looking for a raise as well. Does Nylander then set the price for Mitch Marner? That could be what happens, because right now Nylander is the better player. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We'll have to see whether that continues, but that's where it is for me, is Pastrnak, I think. People like to say, well, let's use the in-house with Marner as the first comparison, but he's going to be up for a new contract here as well. Now, if Nylander keeps doing what he's doing, and there's no reason to suggest that he won't, we'll see how much that rises, but I would think 11 and a quarter would be fair. Okay, for me to say that, if Louis Gross doesn't think the same, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you know what? The Nylander camp's holding all the cards this time, unlike a few years ago. It's going to be interesting. I mean, you already have three Leafs near the top 10 of all NHL players in pay, as Terry alluded to, and squeezing Marner in there later on. Granted, he's not having such a good season so far, but it's still early. That's going to complicate matters big time. I think the big thing, though, if you talk to people, is that Nylander still hasn't done in the playoffs. I think he had that really good finishing game against Florida, and maybe the Leafs stretch it out. It's playing Russian roulette or Swedish roulette, if you will, to a degree, to wait that long. But you go into the playoffs, and let's say he doesn't play well in the playoffs, and where does that leave? No reason to think he wouldn't, but I'm just trying to put myself in Brad Treliving's spot and wonder, do you take it and really, if he hits out of the ballpark and he's the best player on a team that goes 2 or 3 rounds, then, you got to bite the bullet. And maybe, in 6 or 7 months, we're talking about moving out another member of the core four.
Yeah, I think with Nylander too, it's obviously like true. There's no rush from Nylander's side to do anything now. And, I think if they're going to run the risk of how he plays in the playoffs, I don't think that's really going to be an issue, given the way that he's been in the past few years. Of course, Lance also speaking from a team perspective, Leafs haven't won anything. So, we'll have to see. But the cap is rising. The John Tavares contract will come off the books. He will not get anything close to that on his next deal. We know that now. So there will be some more money there for the Leafs to spend. But, we're talking about all this Nylander stuff. They still have to get something going on the defense side of it and get a real stud there. But right now for the Maple Leafs, it's all good. Nylander's performing well, doing great things, and they're winning hockey games, and that's what you want in the middle of November.
All right, well, shifting over to that blue line, Lance, it's John Klingberg, who is not able to play right now. The transatlantic flight that definitely not helped that reported hip injury that he's dealing with right now that has been lingering for quite some time. We could find out as early as this week what the immediate future holds for the Leafs defenseman, Lance, but if they do have to go without him for long term, how do you think they go about filling that vacancy, and does it increase the urgency for a trade potentially?
Well, you know what? He hasn't had a great season yet, and it's easy to look around and say, you know what, they're on a 4-game winning streak, and most of that done without Klingberg. But it's a long year. I don't think they can, if not him, go that long without a veteran defenseman. They've already pushed 40-year-old Mark Giordano to the max. They're getting some decent guys filling in. But you know what? It will open some cap space, and maybe they do a sort of ad hoc. William Nylander and Simon Benoit have not played poorly, and that's plugging those guys in long term. I mean, they were signed to be short term fill-ins, not long term. And to Terry's point, here we are. We're almost at American Thanksgiving. Teams do consider deals and all that kind of thing. I don't know if the Leafs really have much to give, but if they're looking to land a stud defenseman, they have the same problem everybody else does, that many teams want one, and they don't really have the resources right now to deal, nor the cap space.
Yeah, the Leafs issue is they need one too. I don't think this defense core can help lead them through 4 rounds to a Stanley Cup next spring. You just need to improve it straight through. And like Lance makes the point, Lagesson and Benoit signed to fill in with fingers crossed that you don't have a lot of injury problems, and they've come in and done that. But over the long term, I don't know if you really want to get into a spot where you are depending on them to give you those minutes and help shore it up. And, the allusion to, like Lance again said, that Mark Giordano, 40 years old. At what point does he run out of gas? Because, full respect for Mark Giordano and what he's doing. There's a reason why no one else is doing it in the league at his age, because no one else really can. But, at some point you think that will catch up to you. It hasn't yet. It's still relatively early. So we'll see. Liljegren will get back at some point, and you hope that there's no injuries to anyone else before he does. And we'll see where Connor Timmins fits in as well. It looks like he's around the corner to returning as well. So, Klingberg, Klingberg's just, I don't know. It's been interesting. He had not good when he's been in, and you hate to say it, but as winning hockey games, like Lance said, you're not really missing him right now. So hopefully he can go home. If it is a hip thing, he had double hip surgery nearly 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years in the spring. So if that's what it is, try to get it fixed. But as we've seen, Lance, the Leafs have got through this patchwork defense last year, and they did well with it. So we'll have to see, but I still think they need to get better at it.
Very quickly, Connor Timmins is the X factor here. I think he's having a great camp. He played well last year, and unfortunately had the knee injury, the lower body issue, whatever that is. Be interesting to see what he looks like when they get back, and certainly they need some more right-handed shots, I should say.
Well, a few more days until the Leafs are back in game action. They'll take on the Blackhawks on Friday afternoon. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below or send us an email at torontomapleleafs@postmedia.com. For Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.